Well, what is going on, everyone? Hope that you guys are off to an amazing start to this week. Gosh, can you believe it? We are already knocking on the door of July. Matter of fact, we're more than knocking on the door. It's happening. It's starting tomorrow, right? It's the reason why I'm starting this off this way, right, is because guess what? That means that this officially marks that the 2025 year is halfway over in about 12, depending on where you're at in the country, 12 to 15 hours, right? It is, it's, to me, it's go time. So it's really an amazing opportunity for us to take a look and see, where am I at? Am I tracking? Am I in alignment with the goals that I had set myself for 2025? Right? At the end of the day, there is a tremendous opportunity for ourselves to really kind of take a look at what we're doing that's working, what's not working, and ultimately, how do we be more effective with our time? So, as always, real quick little housekeeping things before I jump back in and talking about what we're going to be doing today and focusing on buying back our time. Hey, a couple of housekeeping things. If you have a question, please drop it into the chat. You're going to have questions. We're going to be hitting on a lot of things, and we're going to move pretty quick today, because one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking at is this guy right here, right? What's on your screen, buying back your time. So again, if you have a question, make sure that you drop it in the chat. And as always, I will be opening it up for questions at the end. I will pull you on. So if you want to ask your question out loud, remember, if you have that question, somebody else is always going to have that question as well. If you were watching this, after the fact in a recording, feel free to drop it into the comments, as our team will review that and answer that question for you accordingly. Anything that we could do to be of service at Zoodealio is something that we are on a mission to do, whether you're a homeowner or whether you are a real estate agent. Okay, so for us agents that are out there, in the grind, 2025 has been a year of a bit of famine, right? You have so many houses that are on the market, they're not selling. And not only that, the selling season that we all knew lasted so long. Even when we look at 24 and year 2023, you might think to yourself, that wasn't that great of a year. It was slower, it was a bit of a grind. But if you actually really look at what the national turnover rates and days on market, the absorption rates, we're still tracking faster than what we were used to. And most of the time, in most markets right now, if you actually look at it, the market is, when you look at it from a national average, and maybe some of this needs to be updated on, times, there's an argument to be had there, but we're in somewhat of a balanced market, right? Because anytime our inventory is less than 4 months, historically, per, the trend, I think that there was a study that was done, hey, how long does it take to get houses sold? On like a 100-year study, and that number came out to be about 4 months. So anytime that the inventory supply is less than 4 months, it's a market that typically favors a seller. Anytime it's longer than 4 months, it's a market that's going to favor the buyer, right? Meaning that there's more inventory, the negotiation scales favor the buyer. There's less inventory, the negotiation scales will favor the seller. Okay, so now that we kind of have a little bit of an understanding of what I'm talking about, right, with our current market positioning, time is more prevalent than ever, always has been, right? To me, one of my favorite quotes out there is, what is the difference between a rich person and a poor person? And it's a bit of a funny saying, but it's what they do with their time. And, there's so many times that there's a lot of people out there now talking around, hey, people that are flashy, they want to buy liabilities and even somewhat assets with their money, versus what are the things that you can buy back to give you more time. Time is without a doubt our most finite resource, right, as we have as being, human beings. Yes, it can be in abundance, and yes, it can be in scarcity, depending on how you manage it and how you use it. So what I want to do today is, of course, show you within the Zoodealio application of how can we get back some of our time. So I'm going to take you through several pieces, but I also want to just take a quick moment and let's take a look at this, right? We're all, entrepreneurs. If you're on this, whether you're in real estate or the lending world, title space, right? We have a broader audience that watches these. Most of the time you are in an area of where, getting some of your time back is going to be one of the most important things, so that what we focus on can expand. And not only that, looking at my time and myself as a business, right? And I'm talking about even my personal life, right? Like if I have a yard to manage, a house to manage, kids and their schedules to manage. Right now, I'll challenge that. Sometimes people say, oh, well, you can have somebody, get your kids around, shuttle around, have a nanny, right? Depending on where you're at in life. But the reality of it is sometimes that's actually, I'll challenge a great opportunity, because sometimes you can spend that time with kids, right? Sometimes it's a stress reliever to work on your yard. Like I personally love to, I have flowers in my backyard and, manage my garden, or, essentially. That brings me peace. And yes, I have a landscaper, but at the same time, I still will manage and do a lot of those things. So I think that when we look at this, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is having a real conversation with yourself of what's important to you and what are the things that you can cut out. Maybe you don't like doing laundry, right? And you can drop off your laundry at a laundry service. It's maybe not as expensive as you think. Maybe instead of flying a major airline, you fly JSX, something like that, right? I'm just kind of throwing out some ideas for all of us to be able to take a look at what are the things that we can do. And then, of course, here is the cool thing, turning it around, what I want to share with you today in Zoodealio. Let's face it, with everything that I've just talked about, from leads to the 2025 has been a tough year to time, right? That's ultimately what I'm buckling down on. What if every time you picked up the phone, you knew that person was interested? What if every time you attempted to make contact, you had some type of evidence that they were interested in some of the services that you were providing, especially if it's not just a referral, if it's not anybody that you've met before? Well, here's the beautiful thing, guys. Because of the advancements within technology that have been moving so rapid the last few years, that is now a reality. We are able to capture your consumers, your prospects, your clientele's behavior online, indicating that they're interested in what you are providing. Then from there, it really even just makes it so easy for us to have an effective conversation with them, right? Because we use that as the bridge. Hey, I saw that you were checking out X, and I wanted to reach out to you because I wanted to see if you were interested now, or it was just something that you were poking in, or you may be interested in the next year, right? Have that open-ended conversation. Build relationships. Of course, get people, as always, to know you, like you, and trust you. The one thing I want to urge in today's times, right? Everybody, again, is talking about how soft the market is, longer days on market, having to potentially slash prices or have your house be the crown jewel to get it sold faster than the masses. And that has to do with, interest rates being high and prices still being high. Homeownership affordability is pretty low, right? It's not very affordable in most markets is what I'm getting at. So if we are able to be more effective with what we say and what's going on, we will be putting ourselves in these home selling conversations, because here's what I want you guys to know. Even though the projected home sales are down this year, they're still around 4 million, right? We sold just over 4 million in 2024. We sold like 4.1 million or 4.15 million, I believe it was, in 2023, or 4.1 million in 2023 as well. I forget the exact numbers. But, and then of course, 2022, the market was crazy busy at like 4.5, 4.8, right? Like it was a lot. And then I think even the year before it was like 5-6 million, right? So yes, the market has been getting hit, but what I want us to be looking at, right, is it's about a 20 to 20, anywhere from a 20 to 30% hit in your particular local market. Now, that is obviously a big number. But what I want us to be looking at is, hey, there are still going to be people that need to sell, that need to buy, right? So it's my job to uncover those likely audiences outside of the people that I already know, they already like me, and they already trust me. Now I have to maintain that relationship, but I also need to invite new people to grow that business, okay? So that's what we're gonna be diving in today is how do I buy back my time so that I'm not having to hammer the phone, and depending on, again, how you run your business, how you prospect and lead generate, but I'm gonna show you some strategies on how you can call people that you're capturing their interest and have a much, much warmer, inviting conversation based on their actions versus just calling a cold list. But even if you're calling a cold list, right, I'm going to show you how you can call that cold list, invite them, nurture, right, and be more meaningful and impactful. Because remember, that turnover rate that I was talking about is usually based on an annual perspective, right? So your business is on a right now basis most of the time. And then when we are going to be most effective with our business, our job is to find people that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate virtually immediately, right? That ultimately is who we want to be working with, is people that want to list their house now, accept a cash offer now, get in the car and find their next house now. Right? That is ultimately what we're looking for as professionals as we grow our businesses. I wanted to give you guys a big view. So I went and found, somebody, that we've launched and tested an account, right? And so, of course, not everybody's numbers are going to be as big as you're going to see here when you're talking about 120,000 emails that have been sent. Having a really awesome open rate when you talk about that kind of a volume, and even a really cool click rate, considering the 95% of these emails or these people are flat cold, right? We didn't know them. They've come from a collective of other, lead generating sources over the course of the years. It was something that we did around testing, but it has a lot of exactly what we're going to be uncovering today, because what this is, this is going to be the collective of probably the majority of what most real estate agents or most, professionals contact list is going to look like, right? You're going to have a bunch of contact information where maybe 5 to 10% of them are people that you know, that you've worked with or that you've talked with. But the majority of them, you're going to not have had any interaction with them. So again, you want to be able to bring a unique value proposition to them so that they engage with it, and then you are able to have an effective conversation. So let me give you kind of a peek under the hood of what exactly I'm talking about and how we focus on these things. So in light of today's time, and focusing on time, there are obviously lowest hanging fruits, right? So these are things that I'm going to want to take a look at. And we're going to really be diving down on this from lead score to clicks to everything. So my first overarching thing I'm going to pay attention to on the daily, right? Now, I want to be clear on this, on the daily, because this is how I'm going to lead generate and put myself in those immediate, keyword, immediate home selling, home buying conversations. These are people that are inside my report, taking actions and just really ultimately engaging with my cash offer dashboard, my home report that I'm sending to them, right? So now my systems are doing lead generation for me, guys. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not sending out an email campaign. I didn't craft it. I didn't create a postcard. Right? None of those things happen. By simply plugging into your Zoodealio application, uploading your contact list, or working with SellerSource, and then the contacts come in here for you, then the system is now generating these opportunities for me. So now all of that time-saving activity is done for me. So now I get back that time so that, guess what? I can call these 1,500 people and try to move them through the process faster. But why would I not want to start with the most effective people that I possibly can when I do that. So by simply highlighting the box here, you're going to now see that the system is going to come in here and ultimately give us all of that list. Then additionally, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to filter the lead score, right? So now it's going to show me who are some of my hottest, most engaging leads, okay? So we have Amy and Kelly and Jared and Jennifer all right here, right, where I can see that they have recently been interacting with this, with the home report, what's going on, right? So now let's go ahead and open up Kelly here. We can see what Kelly is doing, right? By saying, hey, look, she's, she's definitely been interacting with it, right? Because she's now showing with the lead score, a time bonus, right? Which is saying, hey, maybe she's not hot yet, but she's definitely doing some things where there's some stronger interaction, right? So now I can kind of come up here and see what's going on by simply, looking at that lead score. Okay. Then from there, I'm going to want to come in here and look at this, home report. Well, guess what? It looks like she spent about 19 minutes looking at her market overview of her particular area. Okay. So this is a great opportunity to now call Kelly, right? So now I've maybe never met her. Maybe I met her open house. Maybe I sold her house. Here you go, right? Whatever the circumstance is on how they've got in there, from everything from, Kelly's my sister to, hey sis, how's it going? Hey, I saw that. And hey, quick call because I was actually reaching out because I see that you were checking out the market overview in your area. And so, hey, I just wanted to reach out because the system went off and let me know that you were checking it out. Is this something that you guys want to, dial into? Is there any questions you have that I could, figure I'd just reach out and give you some customer service because I love you, right? From my sister to somebody I've never met before, right? Giving you just that example script and now shifting it to where Kelly, I've never met her before. Hey, Kelly, this is Elliot at, ABC Real Estate. Hey, reason for the call is I see that you actually were checking out your home report and it looks like you took a deeper dive of what was going on in the market report for your particular area. So, hey, just a quick service call. Are you guys looking to see what's going on in your neighborhood, or were there any specific questions that you had? Oh, no, we just had, questions and I don't need anything, et cetera, right? Sometimes they're not expecting that call. But this is where I'm going to start sneaking in to build that relationship. I'm going to say, hey, oh, cool, Kelly. Hey, just as an FYI, we send this to you twice a month. Also, a couple of features in there that you may not know exist is actually a rent versus sale comparison. So in the event that you're ever curious about renting your house versus selling your house and seeing which one would perform better for you, it's right there for you. It shows you the calculations. Also, there's an AI assistant in there. It's awesome because what it is, it's actually fed data on your property. So it can educate you on, the forecast of your area. It'll help you calculate your equity. And then of course, also there are cash offer prospective cash buyers inside of that report. So in the event that you're ever thinking about selling your house and you want to see what a cash offer would look like, that is all there for you so you can understand how they work, and you have everything there at your fingertips month after month for you. Boom. They're going to say thank you. You say thank you. Hey, just as an FYI, would it be okay if I reach back in from time to time to see if there's anything that you need? Boom. Right? So it's just a total simple service call, right? Here's what I want you guys to see. Kelly, that conversation I just had with her, in her mind, she's not moving maybe now or never to never, right? But what you don't know is, life happens, and in 18 months from now, something's going to shift, and now Kelly and her husband or Kelly and whatever is going to change, and they're going to potentially start getting curious. You're going to start seeing the time spikes increase more, or the alerts will go back off for you. And now, because you already had that pre-conversation and you've checked in with her at a time or two, she's going to maybe be reaching out to you, or you're going to see the system go to 100, 110, because it can go over 100 based on the behaviors. And then you're going to need to reach out to Kelly because now the system is prospecting and monitoring your leads for you. Guys, time is the most precious resource, most finite resource we have. And so now the system is monitoring, interacting, talking to Kelly, providing value all on your behalf. So when I can get back that resource of time, right? Now I created this great relationship with Kelly, and it happened really over my direct effort and time, maybe 10 to 15 minutes of phone calls, right? And now it ends up as another deal for me. So do me a favor, drop a Y in the chat if you would love this, and if you're following along. If you don't want back more time, drop an N in the chat for me. So, like I said, do me a favor, drop a Y in the chat if this is a strategy that you would love to put in place and get back some more of your time. Okay, so. As we continue and cruise along here, right? I want to do us a favor, go back here, right? So, and just as an FYI, right, there are absolutely ways that we can integrate this into my CRM, right? So if I'm looking for a certain event that's going to happen and I want to put these in my call dialer, right? I just want to, again, indicate the opportunity that you guys have here to be able to just put this on your flow, right? Now, just as an FYI, one of the things that I look at, right, is I'll kind of let my system usually cultivate anytime the lead score starts getting up to 40. There are some activities that they're doing. Maybe it's a great opportunity to reach out. There's enough engagement there that they should definitely be knowing what you are talking about, right? When you just call them up, say, hey, Sally, we haven't had a chance to meet yet, but hey, as an FYI, you were checking out the home report that I've been sending you over the last 6 months. And hey, the reason for the call is I see that you were checking out, X, piece of it. And so I wanted to see if you wanted to know how that works, or you had any general questions, right? They may try to push you away, dust you off at that particular point, but that's where it's our job. We got that hook to get in. And then now we just want to be soft, right? We don't necessarily want to hard sell them and, try to push in there. Again, it's about building a relationship, getting them to trust you and see you as the service provider of home selling resources, right? Some unique options that are not always just putting a post in their front yard, right? Unfortunately, in today's times, a lot of that is lost its allure. So you want to bring a unique value proposition to these homeowners, so much different than everybody else in your office or everybody else in your market is bringing them, right? So stand out, be that, that's where I think that statement, purple cow marketing, comes from, right? Be that purple cow marketer, right? In a sea of black and white cows, be the purple one that stands out. Okay, so of course, everything that I just took you guys through, you can do this with opens, right? So if I go back to this open and there we go. This will grow quite a bit. Yeah, it's a big number. That's why it's going to load. Yeah, so we have 29,000, opens, right? So I personally may run a different marketing campaign on this, right? So those of you that have a massive list like this, you can take a look at different ways that you can do that. So maybe now I'm going to try to capture other engagement, right? For me personally, this 1,500, I'm going to be really doubling down on that, right? Now, another thing I want to do to really get back some of my time and manage, what my day looks like, what's going on. There are certain behaviors that I want to be able to take a look at, who's doing what, right? So you have things that are going on literally to the minutes right here, right? So you have things that happened 9 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago, an hour ago, et cetera. Right, so these are, again, lead generation opportunities for your business daily. If you plug your list, if you access your contacts, access a viable lead source such as SellerSource, and start putting your leads in here, the system is going to go to work for you. Right now, that's the beautiful thing I want to just share with everybody on this is we've really been able to uncover that in the lead generation game here at Zoodealio is You have leads that are ready to go right now, and you have leads that are, not ready right now, even though they've expressed interest, they took action, but maybe they're just, in that decision-making process. And for some people, the decision-making process is a day, and some people it's, a year or two. So be prepared for that. Give them a tool that's going to allow you to stay top of mind for that particular prospect, and this is the way to do that. So simply sharing this here. Another thing I want you guys to take a look at is if underneath my notifications, I can come up here into the filters, and I can come up here and take a look at, let's see who's adjusted their value, for example. All right, I'm gonna let this filter for myself here. Again, it's this particular account's got a lot of data in it. So, okay, here we go. So look, you have people that are adjusting the value, and again, this is a really cool action. You have a total of 31 people, right? Now, this to me is 31 leads, regardless of their seller score, because this is an opportunity for me to go in and call, Kelly, Jack, Albert, Michael, Amar, et cetera, that have gone in and adjusted that home report, because I can now say, hey, I see that you were adjusting the home report. Did we get it wrong? Hey, this is just a data-driven property analysis that's based on comparables inside your area. Hey, well, I got you. Have you made any upgrades to the property? Et cetera. Find out about that information. And hey, just out of curiosity, is this analysis going on? Are you guys considering selling your house for top dollar? Would you be curious to know how your house would perform from a value sales price in today's market, right? So I think, again, by asking these key and core questions, you're going to put yourself in a lot of these really cool home selling conversations. So that's why a lot of times I always recommend, ask questions, lead the conversation, ask questions, and a lot of times go too deep, right? Ask what it is that they're looking to do, and then, hey, are you doing this because X, right? Validate and verify. Or, why is that important to you? What are you looking to achieve by that, right? So I think that, again, this is where we have an opportunity to be consultative, to use the tool to be consultative. So again, really cool stuff all right here. Okay, one other quick thing I want to show you guys that I think is very, very powerful is going to be just looking at some of these different filters that we now have. This is a newer add-on right here, is where we can come in and we can actually filter by a score. We can filter by a property stage. So what that means is they're finalizing the offer. The offer's been received, or they're being finalized. Now, the reason why I really want to highlight this is there is a ton of leads that are being distributed from Zoodealio SellerSource, and a lot of those leads are having finalized offers. That means that the offer is being underwritten, and the homeowners are wanting to know what is the actionable offer price, right? You have the preliminary instant offer, and then hey, here's what the cash buyer will pay for your house offer, right? And that's where that finalized offer is going to come into play. So make sure that if you're a part of SellerSource and you are receiving leads, that that you're paying attention to that property status, right? Because, again, these are things that they're waiting for you to call them up and present that cash offer as soon as that offer has been fully finalized, right? Which is most cases happening. I mean, the goal is for it to happen in less than a day, right? So I think we do quote a day, 1 to 3 business days is what it can take. 3 days being extenuating circumstances where maybe the property needs a much deeper analysis. Okay, so the other things in here, you have an opportunity, of course, to filter by that lead type. So again, for the cash offer ads, being a part of SellerSource, likely sellers, right? These are all different, groups that you can run. And also here, watch, I want to show you guys this piece right here. So I can come in here, let's go into, he doesn't have any. This may be before that, so I can show you. Yeah. So this is where I want to show you guys this piece right here. So this, when you get a lead and it's coming from an ad, right? So like we're now, running commercials online and, lead generating, and then that lead is being routed to the agent that is a part of SellerSource to where that lead is, right? Not only that, we're doing mass marketing to homeowners, and as that lead raises its hand or the lead score shows a certain level of interest, that lead is then being routed to the real estate agent, right? And that's where, again, this is a tremendous opportunity for you to be a part of SellerSource and plug this into your business, right? And ultimately find people that are interested in possibly transacting, now or the next, in the foreseeable future. Okay, so you're going to have this lead type, right, where the lead source will certainly tell you seller source, right here. And then the lead type will be, is this a probate? Is it a likely seller? Did it come from the home report registration, right? How did this lead type get into your system? Okay, and then of course the groups that we all know are right here. This is where you have different groups that you have that give you the filtering ability. Again, so goal here on sharing all of this with you is to give you the resources of, operating the system so we ultimately get back our time, right? I want you guys to be the most effective you've ever been by ultimately utilizing the tools that are right here at your fingertips that are going to ultimately put you in home selling conversations, okay? So I think that again, these going back in here by the filters, we can come in here and, see who has requested the cash offer themselves, right? That's another huge thing. Again, that happens a ton for us at Zoodealio because, again, we're running large-scale ads to where homeowners are going to Zoodealio.com, they're requesting the cash offer, and then that lead is being routed instantaneously to the agent that is a part of SellerSource from that local market, right? And, of course, it's a round-robin opportunity. By the way, if for some reason you're not familiar with SellerSource, I'm happy to have the team reach out. So if you'd like to learn more about SellerSource, go ahead and drop a yes or a Y in the chat, drop a Y in the comments, and we can reach out to you. And then also, we do have a live webinar that we go over this on Thursday mornings. Pretty much every single week, sharing what the SellerSource lead program is, how it works, and ultimately how it's going to help you level up and crush it in today's market. Okay. So again, make sure you check out these filters. You can always clear them, right? These are all great new tools. One other thing on this too, I want to show you, we can really kind of start looking at what was the date that it was created, right? We want to look at when, how long have they been in my system, right? What was the most recent activity? These are all just tools to help you, especially if you have 1,000, 2,000, even 500 people in here, right? We need to make sure that we are interacting with the people that are interacting with our system, right? That's going to be our biggest and best opportunities, and putting yourself into that, instant selling solution. Not only that, guys, I do want to obviously highlight this point. I mean, I don't mean this from a selfish standpoint just because we're Zoodealio, but most homeowners, a lot of times, if they can skip the listing process and go straight to sold with a cash offer, why wouldn't they want to do that? Now, the data on it is it only works about 5% of the time, but at the end of the day, it starts a conversation almost 100% of the time. So use that as your resource. Show them what the cash offer option is, especially when you can guarantee a full market value cash offer. Again, it's anytime that a house is going to be sold on the market and then they're going to get the difference, if it was to sell for more, that is one heck of a conversation starter. And why you as a practitioner, as a professional real estate agent, should absolutely be sharing that option with them and that opportunity. And of course, giving them the instant solutions to see what that is. So I want to, again, invite you guys as we kind of, round third and wrap this up. I will open it up for a couple of questions to see if anybody does. By the way, we're about done here. So do me a favor. If you have any questions or anything, drop it in the chat or raise your hand, because I'll pull you on here in just a second. If not, we'll be wrapping up here and landing the plane in just a moment. So, okay. Last thing, on all of this here, I want to just ultimately share with everybody is making sure that we're using these tools. What does that look like, right? Am I actually looking at my partial leads inside of my system, right? Does that mean, are people finding my website? Am I running traffic to it, right? What is going on with my home report? How am I marketing to these people? How are my clients, right? Make sure that you're effective with your time. And not only that, be effective. Give better service, right? It is our duty to make sure that we grow our business, right? If we are in the business of selling real estate, then guess what our job is? To sell real estate. So there's a lot of people that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Go out there and find them. Use these tools to find them. So with that said, it doesn't look like I have any closing questions here. As always, guys, thank you so much for plugging in. This is, it's always a pleasure to be with you week after week on these, whether it's me or Kayla. We enjoy it. Last little prompt here for you guys. Plug in. And the only regret that you're going to have is the regret that you didn't get started sooner. So plug in, and if you're watching this as a recording or on YouTube somewhere, please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you are always notified anytime we drop a new episode. Thanks so much for tuning in.